All right, let's chop it up, Saints fans. I'm kind of already in off-season mode just because, quite frankly, this season feels pretty much over. Of course, the New Orleans Saints still have a 1% chance of making the playoffs, but we all know that that's not going to happen. So in today's video, let's talk about quarterbacks. Because I think that there's a really interesting idea and a really good option in Justin Fields because he will be a free agent and arguably the top free agent this upcoming free agency class. So when it comes down to it, if you had to pick between Justin Fields or Derek Carr, which one of these two would you prefer to be your starting quarterback? Give me a JF for Justin Fields. Give me a DC for Derek Carr. And make sure you get down in the comments section because I want to hear what you have to say, Who Dat Nation. I know you're a lot smarter than all those dumb Falcons fans, those dumb Panthers and Bucks fans. I don't care what they have to say. I want to hear what you have to say, Who Dat Nation. So sound off and share your thoughts. Now, really quick, I want to add this note around Derek Carr. It's important to discuss because as of right now, when it comes to Derek Carr's status and playing the rest of the season, right now it's week to week. Darren Rizzi, he is saying no surgery required. They're not placing him on IR. None of that's an option here. So if Derek Carr cannot pass a physical by March 17th, $30 million will become guaranteed in 2025. That it triggers a $30 million cap hit right then and there if he cannot pass a physical by mid-March. And why is that important for this discussion today? Well, to be totally honest, you could also go the option of cutting it. Like, if you have that option and maybe you have to keep him around, so if he's hurt, then yeah, he's going to more than likely be around. But you could also cut Derek Carr if everything's healthy, everything's good to go, and save about $30 million. So I think that is an option the Saints should explore. I think that that's something that they should at least acknowledge. And I'm not saying that that's the best move for the Saints, but I think that it's something to at least think about and to at least play out in their minds and have the hypothetical game. So let's talk about Justin Fields to New Orleans because if you ask me, like the Steelers traded for Justin Fields. They also brought in Russell Wilson as well in the same offseason. We talk about an upgrade going from Kenny Pickett to Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. Just hilarious for the record. But they have favored Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. And Justin Fields has only had 9 games played this season. And I think that you could actually get Fields on like a 1-year prove-it deal. Nothing that's disrespectful to him and his talents, but something that's a little bit more team-friendly. And I'm not going to throw a number out there, but I think that you could give Justin Fields a respectable contract that also is not going to break the bank and set the New Orleans Saints back for a bunch of years. And one of my favorite things about him is the dual threat ability of Justin Fields, and I think that's something that this Saints offense is missing. If we had a more mobile quarterback, if we had a guy who could take off and run whenever it hits the fan, I think that is an option that the Saints should consider. Doesn't matter the name, doesn't matter the player. It's something to at least look at. And with Justin Fields, he is a talented football player. 65.8 completion percentage. Like I said, 9 games played for Pittsburgh this year. Over 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. But again, the rushing ability is one thing that I really, really like. 61 carries, 281 yards on the ground, and he's found the end zone 5 times on the ground. So I'm counting a total of 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 1,380, almost 1,400 yards from Justin Fields. And to be totally honest, I think that is something to think about. Another thing to think about, hasn't played in a while, but producer text, I'm having a hard time remembering. What's our wide receiver one's name? Chris Olave. Oh, that's right, Chris Olave. The Olave Garden, if you will. They were really good together. Just calling a spade here. These two were absolutely dynamic together. They were electric. They were phenomenal. And over the course of 2 seasons, in 2019 and in 2020, the combined stats of Chris Olave's number when Justin Fields was the quarterback, 99 receptions, over 1,500 yards, almost 20 touchdowns, and damn near 16 yards per catch. He averaged over 75 yards per game. I mean, that right there alone is something to at least say, if we want to keep, or to at least consider, when you say, as the Saints front office, we have Chris Olave. I like what he can do. I want him to be a part of our team for the foreseeable future. Why not go and get his college quarterback that was absolutely phenomenal with him? And it's not like there's any sort of like bad ill will. None of that. Actually, Chris Olave speaks very highly of Justin Fields. And This goes back to May in 2022, the draft process, or with all, not with draft process, but this goes back to May 2022, whenever Chris Olave hopped on a podcast, is what I meant to say. And he was discussing Justin Fields. He said he's going to be good. He's one of the hardest workers I know. He is going to find a way. He is going to find a way to win games and do what he does. He is fast. You can always rely on him. He's a great leader. He needs everything you want in a quarterback. He has it all. And if you go back and remember what Chris Olave said about the Saints offense a handful of months ago, whenever people were asked, clips were taken out of context. And it was, this offense could be a lot more explosive. It could be a lot better. It's going to be a high-flying offense with Derek Carr and Kubi. And kind of just laughed it off. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Again, clip taken out of context, but he's pretty quick to show some love to Justin Fields. And again, I'm not going off of 2022 being the end-all, be-all, and we should look in the past to build the future. But this is clearly a connection that exists. It's clearly a connection that's real. So if you want to cater to your offense, I think that Justin Fields would be a really good option. Plus, think about him in the Kubiak offense. So coming up, let's talk more about the Saints and Justin Fields. We're going to talk about more of my opinions. We're going to talk about more why I think this could work, why it may or may not fail, and why it may or may not even happen. But before we do, don't go anywhere because I have to tell you guys about PrizePicks, today's presenting sponsor and one of my favorite apps out there. It's daily fantasy sports made easy, and PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5 using code CLNS. And if you want to get started, you can check out my lineup for some inspiration. I'm going with this free pick from Patrick Mahomes, I'm taking his free pick because I think that he's going to be obviously getting more than 1 yard. But for a shot to win up to 200 times your cash, you can also use code CLNS. $50 instantly when you play $5. You have a shot at up to 200 times your cash. You heard me. It used to be 100. Now it's 200, baby. So you can get started. PrizePicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app and use code CLNS. There's check out PickMix. They have all sorts of cool deals. They have all sorts of cool promos within that, and that's how you can win 200 times your money. So get started with PrizePicks. All sorts of cool deals, all sorts of fun stuff. Shout out to PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, so I want to talk about Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler because I think it's important to give them their due diligence, and it's important to give them their credit here. I do think that they both deserve a fair evaluation, and I don't think that Spencer Rattler's 3 weeks starting in weeks 6 through 8 was a fair evaluation. I don't think Jake Haener's time filling in as a backup for injuries or for a struggling Spencer Rattler, I don't think it's a fair evaluation. I think the best opportunity to get as fair of an evaluation right now is to have Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler start these last 4 games. And you can look at the production that both of these guys have put up. Rattler obviously has more yards, he has more touchdowns, and a lower passer rating. However, he was more accurate with the football. And, Haener didn't throw that many passes. Rattler's thrown just about 100, I think 99 exactly. But at the end of the day, it's still a rookie quarterback in a bad situation. I just don't think it's a fair evaluation to say Spencer Rattler is the worst thing to ever happen to the Saints football. I don't think it's fair to say that about Jake Haener either. Do I favor one or the other? Sure, depends on the day. But you can also get a lot of knowledge and you can learn a lot about these players and about your offense over these next 4 games. And when it comes down to it, the Saints have the opportunity to really see what they have in Jake Haener, in Spencer Rattler, against not the best opponents. I'll give you credit. The Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers, those are quality football teams. Those are going to be tough ones. But, when you look at the remaining schedule, I also think that the Raiders is a really good option to see, all right, who can really just ball out? Who's going to go crazy? Who's going to have some fun? Who's going to score some points? Who's going to light up the offense? That's a really good opportunity. For the Commanders game, who's going to go ahead and make something happen? Who's going to make this one tough? Who is going to make this game where the Saints are not expected to win? Who's going to give us the opportunity to win? It's a good thing to find. It's a good option and a good evaluation to make. Week 18, they actually travel to the Buccaneers. It's a typo on my end. Sorry, y'all. I think, again, The Buccaneers, sure, they're a fine football team. They technically are the division leaders right now. I don't think the Bucs are that special. I just don't. I don't think any of the NFC South teams are all that special. So these next 4 games, really, really good opportunity for for both of these young quarterbacks to get some quality run, get some quality reps against good teams, a good pass rush, calling a spade here. Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, that's a good defensive line for Las Vegas. The Bucs, they are a divisional opponent. You're going to have to play them twice, so you might as well see how they played against your division. I just think this is a really good chance and a really good opportunity for the Saints. I don't want to see them waste these next 4 weeks. And if they win, awesome. They lose, oh well. We weren't going to make the playoffs anyway. And when it comes down to each player specifically, I would really like to see Jake Haener get at least 2 starts. I think that the absolute biggest disservice you could do is throw him out there for 1 game, say he wasn't good enough, and then throw him to the Wolves. And just not throw him to the Wolves, just move on and let Spencer Rattler go out there. I think that's just not fair to Jake Haener. He is a tough son of a gun. He has been around. He's learned the playbook. He's filled in nicely when he needed to. And I'm not saying he's been anything amazing. He hasn't really had to do all that much. But he was the one quarterback who scored on Thursday Night Football against the Broncos. Something to think about. And I also just want to say something about Spencer Rattler, too. Like I said earlier, I don't think it's fair to sit here and say that he's terrible and he sucks and you want nothing to do with him. If you're doing that, you're just a hater. You're a pessimistic fan. And I'm sorry to be that guy, but if it upsets you, I'm talking about you. And I don't mean to offend you, but get over it. You know, it's a rookie quarterback that played in a really decimated team with virtually no help in weapons, a decimated offensive line that had to be basically reconstructed by the practice squad. So I'm not going to sit here and say that he was anything amazing because he wasn't. But it was a bad situation. He got dealt a terrible hand. And so for Spencer Rattler, I would like to see him start at least one of those games because I want to see if he learned anything from weeks 6 through 8. He talked with Nick Underhill. He said that there's been some things he's learned. He says that he's still practicing. He's still absorbing things. He's working through stuff. And I think that that's the right mindset to have for Spencer Rattler specifically. But I do think that he should get, and he deserves the opportunity to show that he is not that player he was in weeks 6 through 8. That, again, if it upsets you, I'm sorry, I'm talking about you. I'm calling you out. If you hate Spencer Rattler and you don't like him, just call a spade. He's spade here. Be factual and just say you don't like him from that Netflix clip. People change. People grow up. Get over it. But let's circle this back to Justin Fields because I do think that Fields is a really, really good option. He has experience. He's mobile. He can run. He can throw. He's been tested. He played high-level football in college. He played I would consider a decent level of football in the NFL with the Chicago Bears. He's filled in decently for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to be some Super Bowl winning quarterback, but it's an option. It's something to think about. It's something to look at, especially considering he has the history and he has the chemistry with your current wide receiver 1. So just something to think about, something to monitor, something to just, pick your brain out a little bit. So just wanted to hop on the mic, talk about Justin Fields. I've seen some people in the comment section talking about it. We're filming this as a part of our weekly live show, and I see people in the comments saying, oh, my God, I would love Justin Fields to be our quarterback. So, just wanted to hop on and share my 2 cents. Now, before we hop on out of here, before we get out of the studio, I need your help, Saints fans. In December of 2023, we picked up over 1,300 subscribers. And in December 2024, we're off to a slower start. So I'm going to need your help, Saints fans. Hit the sub button. Let's beat this 2023 number because I'm a guy who's a competitive person by nature. I am also a person who wants to improve, and I'm also somebody who wants to impress my bosses. So if you want to help me impress my bosses, hit the sub button. And if you need a reason to subscribe, I got 5. I got 5 on it. We have daily Saints videos, multiple videos a week. Some days we have multiple videos a day. It's pretty dope. We also go live twice a week. Once on Wednesdays, once in the afternoon around 4:30 Central Time, and then once on game days, and we have a lot of fun. And then on top of that, if there's any breaking news, any major stories, we go live for that as well. We also provide interactive and informative content for you Saints fans. That way you can talk back to us. You can have a conversation with us. We don't want it to be a podcast where we're talking at you. We want this to be a show where we're talking with you. It's chat sports for a reason. It's not Trizzy sports. It's chat sports. And then we make free videos about We make free videos about the Saints in major networks like ESPN, CBS, Fox. They just don't talk about the Saints. Pat McAfee cannot tell you the last time they talked about the Saints outside of bringing Darren Rizzi on the show. Just calling a fact, calling how I see it. The Saints Now by Chat Sports. We are one of the best channels on YouTube. There's a lot of great options out there, but I take a lot of pride in what we do here. So if you need a reason to subscribe, here's 5 of them. And if you need another one, you know what? Just get in the comments section, and I'll tell you why.